All right, everybody. Good afternoon. It is noon here in the great state of Georgia. I know Chris is here with me somewhere, not literally, but anyways. And thanks, Matt, for the invitation for speaking today. So I am Ann Price, and I'm president and founder of Community Evaluation Solutions. We are a social science evaluation shop here right outside the Atlanta area, and we work with nonprofits, foundations and community coalitions and collaboratives, and try to help them plan, design, and evaluate their social change efforts. So that's kind of a little bit about us. I've been in business since 2004. And yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about my clients later on if you're interested. So I did a session last year at AEA, a roundtable that I expected like maybe 4 or 5 people, and then they just kept coming and coming and coming. So I think there's definitely an interest and a need for mentoring, and I know that's something that Matt is obviously very committed to with these Thursday sessions that we're having. I'm starting some coaching actually tomorrow with folks. I just really feel called to do that for new evaluators and emerging evaluators. It's just a nice way of giving back, and the world's a pretty stressful place right now. So anyway, so I did this session on mentoring, and I'm going to share some of the information today that I shared last time. So let's just talk about mentoring just to start. So it's a voluntary relationship between 2 people. Usually one person is more experienced than another person. And mentoring helps, I'm admitting somebody, Matt. So mentoring helps new professionals certainly build their professional network, acquire new skills, and maybe fill in some knowledge gaps that you don't have. How that looks for me at CES, every summer we have either an intern or a practicum student, and I've done that, gosh, I don't know, I should count the years. I came up with a list of all the students or new evaluators that I've mentored, and there's got to be at least 10 people on that list. So I guess we've been doing it that long, and I really I enjoy it a lot. They definitely benefit in these ways. They get introduced to the folks that I know in the network that work in the areas that they're interested in. We always set professional development goals at the beginning of every summer. So if there's specific skills that they really want to work on, like my student now is really interested in data visualization. This morning we had our coaching call, and she was talking about her need and desire to work on things like conflict management and communication with clients. So it's not always a hard skill, it sometimes is. And then, yeah, filling, in specific, knowledge gaps. Maybe they think they're, weak in some area or not. But it is, it's a two-sided conversation, right? It's a two-sided relationship. So mentoring also builds experienced evaluators or consultants. Absolutely, I benefit from having younglings around. They usually have fresh, creative ideas. They may have a skill that I don't have or I'm weak on. They may have a different outlook and a different way of thinking. So it's definitely a win-win type of relationship. And so I kind of added this picture because I wanted us to really think about, is it mentor or mentors, right? So sometimes I think we think that there's just like one person is going to be maybe all we need as far as a mentor. And I was talking to a colleague the other day, and she made the observation that somebody that she knows has like a cadre of people around them that they consider mentors. So that kind of really got me thinking, because maybe someone is really great in, relationships in a work setting. They offer really good advice around just kind of navigating work type relationships. Maybe somebody else is really good at, the entrepreneurial part of running your own business, or maybe somebody is like super great on research methods or design. So you might have a group of, you may choose to have like a group of folks, maybe as a group of mentors rather than just one. So this is a picture of my student from a couple years ago. This is Kara Matthewson. She was an MPH student at Emory, and she used some of the data from one of our clients and participated in a competition, I guess is the best way to say it, at Emory for MPH students, and she was actually one of the finalists. So we were pretty proud of that. Kara has since graduated and gone on and is at the Wisconsin Department of Health, Public Health rather, right now. Kind of a very stressful place to be, as you can imagine, but Kara and I still stay in touch. Now, Kara found me through my ad for a practicum or intern student. That's how she found me, but I still serve as a mentor for Kara. She's applying for a job. She asks for recommendations. She might ask for advice from time to time. But if you're looking for a mentor, I would first start with just asking around, asking your colleagues, your other friends, through your professional network. You might just reach out and ask someone you admire, maybe somebody that you're following on social media or you see active in, whether it be this TIG or another TIG in AEA. I think you'll find that evaluators are a pretty friendly bunch, even those of us who are pretty introverted. So yeah, so it never hurts to just reach out directly to someone or through social media. That would be another way to find somebody. So like I said before, I usually sit down with my students that I work with, and I talk to them about what are their career goals, what do they really want to work on, what do they feel like they're weak on, what are their strengths, of course. I always make sure that I introduce them to other people. So we had a student last year who was really interested in criminal justice and mental health in prisons. And so I had a few people in my network, and I made sure that I connected that student with those folks. And when I say student, I don't always just mentor students. I absolutely have other emerging evaluators, I would say, who I have a relationship with. So I always want to know whether or not they want to learn something, specific. I want to share resources with them. And I give you an example. So I was asked to, and this would be a formal mentor relationship as opposed to an informal one. I was asked by a foundation president to mentor his new evaluator. And one of the things that I did for her was give her a long list of various evaluation resources and experts and those kinds of things. And then also learning just to navigate the workplace. So that was definitely one of the many conversations that I had with her. She worked in a pretty small foundation, but with other folks who had been in the foundation for a while, and she was really new and really young, and there was definitely some tension between her and some of the other folks. So yeah, so those are some of the things, but I would really advise you sitting down, or in this case via Zoom, to have conversations about really what you want to get out of the relationship. So I was talking about formal versus informal. So in the situation I just described, that was definitely a formal relationship. But I know I have mentors or the folks that I consider mentors, and it's more of an informal relationship. They may not even know that I think about them as a mentor. And it could be like a short-term or a long-term relationship. Like the relationship that I was just describing was definitely a very formal relationship for a set period of time. But now our relationship is definitely more informal. So she knows that she can reach out to me whenever she needs. But I think it's helpful if it's going to be a formal relationship, definitely to discuss, how often are we going to meet? How much time are we going to spend? Because you don't want to, you don't want to take advantage of people's time, but and then discuss, what you want to get out of the relationship. What are some of those goals that you want to work on? So I just have a couple of discussion questions for us as we kind of move into the conversation phase. So just would like to hear from folks whether or not they have a mentor, and if you do, what kind of relationship is it? And how, if you have one, how does that relationship help you develop your professional skills? And had you ever thought about what your mentor gets out of the relationship, or had you really kind of only thought about it as a one-sided kind of thing? And then maybe some thoughts around how, getting a mentor if you feel like you need one, and building your professional network. So those are a couple of discussion ideas. Of course, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I guess the last thing I would want to share before we kind of open it up to everybody is just to say, I don't think I ever had a mentor, at least not when I was younger. I have colleagues that I really trust, that I know when I need an honest opinion, I can go to them. So maybe that's why this topic is so important to me. And I realized talking to my student right before this call that another reason why this is so important to me is I've seen my 27 and 30-year-olds just have really bad bosses, just really be in really bad situations. There's a really, yeah. So I think it's really important and so important that those of us who've been in the field for a while, give back. So anyway, just a couple of random thoughts there before I open it up. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, and I will share these slides, or Matt can share these slides with you guys. I do have some resources. I'm not going to, you can click on the links, just some more information, specific information about mentoring. But yeah,